Hi everybody, we just finished recording our second YouTube video on the topic of emotions, and in this third video I'm going to teach you and introduce you to faster emotional focus transformation, which I learned by watching Robert Smith's videos in the last 1 year. And the first 3 to 4 months when I discovered it, I already knew emotional freedom technique and NLP, and he has integrated these two powerful modalities, and they work like magic. So he has lots of videos posted for free online, and I highly recommend that you go and watch them. And I've made some changes to them, and I think that just like he made some changes to emotional freedom technique and integrated it with NLP, I've made some changes to them so they work better for me and for my clients. Now, the concept of emotional focus transformation, faster emotional focus transformation, which for short he calls it FEFT. F for faster, E emotional, F focus, and T transformation, or faster EFT. It is based on the concept of Chinese energy meridians, and the difference between emotional freedom technique and faster emotional focus transformation is that Robert Smith has reduced the number of points that we tap on. So with faster EFT, we tap here. So Rebecca is learning it too. We tap in between our two eyebrows gently with 2 or 3 fingers. Then we tap on the outer corner of the eye. We tap under the eye. And then this is your collarbone. So you go a little bit below. You tap here. Like imagine you're wearing a necklace. Tap here. And you can either stay on the right hand side of your body or the left side. And then you hold your wrist and you can tap on it also. Okay? So these are the 5 tapping points. Alright? And then when we start, sometimes the problem is like too deep rooted. Like imagine a weed. Like some weeds are just, the root is so deep. Like when I was working in my garden, sometimes I had to go and take a knife with very long blade, and I had to really push it in and pull out the weed and the root with both my hands. So some of the problems, some of the traumatic memories and negative experiences that keep showing up again and again in our merry-go-round, because we all have this merry-go-round inside our head, and they keep showing up, and then we start having conversation with the person who wronged us, and I used to do that for years. And I don't do that anymore, thank God. They are released. And so that's the joy of it, is that you save a lot of time and energy when you use this modality and you release all your traumatic, painful memories. So what we do is that we call this karate chop. Okay, so when I say go to your karate chop, this is what I'm talking about. Like in karate, you go chop and you break the breaks. So that's where it goes. So you can either go to the right hand side or you can go to the left side. Doesn't matter. And so what we do, we use the karate chop to state the problem. Okay. So let's say loneliness. Rebecca recommended we start with loneliness, because loneliness is a universal human problem. There is not a single human being who sometimes doesn't feel lonely. And a lot of people are ashamed of it. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. And the reason we feel lonely is because we have a human spirit. This is what I believe strongly. And human spirit is created out of love. God created us out of love. So the human spirit has a longing to be with the source of love, which is the creator, which is God. Whatever name you want to use. The great spirit, the noble essence. So many times when we feel lonely, it is because our spirit is longing to connect with the source. And because of lack of spiritual education, we don't understand that. So we think, oh, the reason I'm feeling lonely is because I am far away from my loved ones. But sometimes we are around our loved ones and still we feel lonely. Isn't that true?
That's true.
Like I was talking to one of my friends yesterday, and he's happily married. He loves his wife. They're so compatible and they're so harmonious. You know, I visited them, I stayed with them, and we were talking, and um, he believes that his wife is going to be his consort in all the worlds of God because they love each other so much and they get along so well. And so I asked him, I said, so uh, because you have this kind of a wife, do you ever feel lonely? And he said, a lot of times. He said, a lot of times I feel lonely because my wife cannot be with me all the time. You know? It is impossible for one human being to be with another human being 24 hours a day. And even if we are sitting next to each other, you know, I cannot go inside Rebecca's thoughts. Yes? I cannot go inside her soul. And she cannot come and be inside my soul. So we have to learn to identify what is the loneliness about. What are we lonely for? Are we lonely because our soul is longing to connect with the source? Because only the source can give us pure and conditional love. Don't you agree?
I agree with that.
Yeah. Even me as a mother, I thought that once I become a mother, I'll be able to love my children with pure and unconditional love. And sometimes I'm able to do that, and sometimes I'm not. When they're not kind and loving and caring towards me, you know, I have a hard time loving them unconditionally. Yeah. So, and you have to be honest and truthful with yourself. Are you able to love anybody unconditionally all the time? Even if you are in love, even you have children. Because like I've been in love several times, and the love I have felt for my children, and I still do, is a very special kind of love. But I don't think that I have been able to continuously love the person that I was in love with, or my children, especially when they didn't treat me nicely, with pure and unconditional love. And in fact, I used to joke with my girls sometimes. I have two daughters, grown daughters, they're lovely, very accomplished, strong women. And I used to tell them, sometimes I feel like divorcing you. Yeah, I would say, sometimes I feel like divorcing you. I've had enough, you know? I need a break from your unkindness or, you know, whatever, lack of courtesy. But as human beings, we all fall short sometimes, okay? So, um, so sometimes the loneliness that we feel is for connection with our own soul. Have you ever thought about that?
I've wondered about that.
Yeah. Like I've experienced that sometimes because each human being has a dual nature. We have a physical body and a rational soul, which we call human spirit. And sometimes the animal ego is so strong because we feed it, you know, and we are surrounded by advertisement, by culture, by improper education, and we think I am the animal self. So we pay so much attention to our animal self. We take so much time to make ourselves physically look beautiful, to be at the ideal weight, to wear the most beautiful clothes, to get manicure, pedicure, to have the right, makeup, to have the right jewelry, especially women. And, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that because we are like the package, you know, and if someone gives you the same gift, but one is wrapped in a newspaper and the other one is wrapped in a beautiful, colorful wrapping paper with a beautiful bow, which one you open first? Of course, the one that is beautiful.
That's right. Yeah.
But both of them contain the same gift. So the gift inside is our soul. like I use this analogy, like we are like an almond. So we have an outer shell, which is our physical body, but the value of an almond is the almond,
It's
right?
inside.
Yeah, it's the almond inside. So we need to get to know that almond, that true self. And sometimes the longing we feel is because we are not connecting with our true self. Yeah. And that's why taking time to be alone by yourself is so important. Yeah. Whether, especially if you're an extrovert. Extroverted people, they have a greater need to be with other people and they get energy from other people. Whereas introverted people, they enjoy their own company. And to me, over the years, I used to be very introverted, and gradually I learned the skills to also be extroverted. And now people who know me never can guess that I used to be very shy.
That's true.
But to me, as we start growing emotionally and becoming more centered and healthier, then we mix the extroverted and the introverted qualities, you know? So we still connect with other people and give and receive love and help them and they give us support, but we also make time for ourselves every day. Very good, okay? All right, so sometimes loneliness is because we miss people we love. Isn't that true?
I can think so.
Yeah. Like sometimes I miss my children, my grandchildren, my mom, my friends who don't live in Boquete. So I call them, I go and see them. So let's start tapping because I want to show how as we start tapping, we get in touch with a lot of profound truth. Because tapping also allows you to go deeper. Okay? All right. So let's start with the karate chop and say, even though I feel lonely sometimes,
Even though I feel lonely sometimes,
and I have a judgment about it,
and I have a judgment about it,
and the judgment is negative usually.
and the judgment is usually negative.
Isn't that true?
Yes, about
Yeah. Yeah. So as we tap, we can just talk to each other. Yeah? We can just explore. Okay? So when you do this at home, this is what I want you to do. So if you're starting to tap on your loneliness, so first acknowledge. It's okay to acknowledge that sometimes we feel lonely. Okay? Because we are human. Okay? And human soul thrives from connection. Okay? Whether it is connection with God, with our own soul, with people that we love and care about, people that we feel happy around, people that we give support and receive support. Yeah? I mean, very few human beings enjoy eating alone, living alone, walking alone, shopping alone, being always by themselves. Isn't that true?
I think so.
And one of the things that I want to clarify is that I was born in Iran. So Iran is an interdependent culture. It's a culture where people visit each other, they give and receive a lot of support. And when I was 19, I went to the US to further my university education. And US is what kind of culture? It's an
Very
independent culture. And we really like put independence on a pedestal. And we think the height of the evolved human being is an independent human being, which is not true. Independence is only the second stage in our psychological development. Okay? Yeah. And from the time you're born, that process starts. Like you can watch a small child. They want to learn to tie their shoelace. They want to feed themselves. I can do it. Don't do it for me. They want to. So this process begins, but it heightens when we become adolescents, right? So the stage of adolescence is misunderstood. Like for example, I lived in Chinese culture for 5.5 years. I was working in China, and I saw that the Chinese teenagers, they didn't have the rebelliousness and the rudeness that I had experienced living in the US culture. Yeah, yeah. Because it's an interdependent culture. It's a culture that teaches you to do things with each other. And at first it was like very amazing for me. Like seldom I would see them do things alone, you know. So independence is a good stage, but it's a stage in our development. You know, just like when we are born as babies, then we go through the stage of childhood. Childhood is a stage. We don't want to remain children,
No, indeed not.
right? But there are lots of us who are adult children. We are stuck emotionally at the child stage because maybe we were severely wounded or our emotional needs were not met as a child. So the goal is interdependence. And when you hear that word interdependence, what does that mean to you?
I think you have a support system, and you're depending on someone else, and they're depending on you.
Right. So it's a mutually giving and receiving support. And to me, the analogy that helps me, and you can develop your own analogy, is that an interdependent person is someone who can stand on their own 2 feet and feel centered, but they build a bridge between themselves and other people. And whenever they, and every day they do get on that bridge and connect with other people and give and receive love and support.
I like that bridge analogy.
Yeah.
That's
And
very positive.
because the dependent stage, which is the first stage in our psychological and emotional development, is a stage where the child is completely dependent on their caretakers. And if they are not there, the child will die. The child does not know how to take care of themselves, emotionally, physically, you know. And then when we move to the independent stage, it's like we now know how to take care of ourselves. We are learning how to take care of ourselves.
Yes.
And in the interdependent stage, what we learn is that even though I know how to take care of myself, I like giving and receiving support.
Yes.
Receiving support and love feels so sweet.
It does.
Yeah, giving, and this is one of our needs as a spiritual being, is to give and receive love. Yeah, and to know and to get to know each other, because every person is like a book.
Yes.
Yeah, every person has a unique experiences. So loneliness is getting in touch with all these limiting beliefs that we have learned about independence. Because a lot of people isolate themselves because they think that that's a sign of strength, okay? And it is not a sign of strength to disconnect yourself emotionally from other people. Yeah, warm people, people who are emotionally available and we can easily connect with them. They feel our heart and soul, and we feel their heart and soul. Don't you agree?
I do agree.
Okay. So now, and you can see that the whole time we've been having this conversation and exploring a deeper understanding of what loneliness is and what can cause it. I've been tapping here. So now we're going to see, even though sometimes I feel lonely,
Even though sometimes I feel lonely,
I deeply and completely,
I deeply and completely
love and accept myself.
love and accept myself.
Why? Why should I love and accept myself when I feel lonely?
Because we're created in God's image, and He didn't create junk.
Exactly.
We got that from peace.
Yeah, exactly. God didn't create junk. And loneliness, all emotions have a gift, they have a message. So, what is the message? What's the gift of loneliness?
I have no idea.
The gift of loneliness is that our heart and soul desires for us to emotionally connect and give and receive love. Isn't that wonderful?
That's very nice.
Yeah, so when we feel lonely, our soul is telling us, hey, you need to go and give and receive some love.
Get up and do something.
Yeah, go and connect with someone. Make a difference in someone's life.
Yes.
Yeah, call a friend. Yeah, listen to them. Let them listen to you. Do something fun together. Help someone, you know? So actually, it's a great message, isn't it?
I think it's perfect.
It is a, so one of the things we're going to do, and this is the gift of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, that it helps us to have a paradigm shift.
Okay.
Okay? So we're going to continue tapping, and I'm going to tell a story. This is from NLP, so you understand the gift of NLP. There's a story that they share in NLP because NLP teaches us to think differently and to change our attitude by changing our perception of reality. So, in a village, there was a farmer who was the only one who had a horse. And as we tap, this is integrating, okay? It's going deeper. So, all the villagers were jealous of this man, okay? All the villagers were jealous of this man, and they would always tell him how fortunate you are that you have a horse, and when the sowing season comes, you know, you can use your horse and turn the soil and plant the seed much faster. And the farmer would always say, maybe, maybe. One day the horse ran away, and all the villagers came to him and said, how unfortunate you are. And he said, maybe. After a few days, the horse returned and had brought 5 other horses. And all the villagers said, how fortunate for you. And again he said, maybe. And after a few days, his eldest son went to ride one of the wild horses to tame it, and the horse threw him down and he broke his legs. And again the villagers told the farmer, how unfortunate for you. And again he said, maybe. And then after a week or two, the soldiers came to the village to recruit soldiers for war, because the country was going into a war, and because his son's legs were broken, he couldn't be recruited. And all the villagers came to the farmer and said, how fortunate for you. And he said, maybe. So, what does that mean? When we look at the totality of the life we have lived, all our tests, challenges, difficulties, injustices, abuse, pain, neglect, whatever you have experienced, and everybody has had their own share. There is not a single human being, and I don't care whether they were born in a multi-billion-dollar family or they were homeless, they've had their share of pain and suffering. So if we put it in perspective, and from my spiritual education and orientation, we are here to learn and to grow. Definitely. Yeah. So all those experiences, maybe they were not so terrible after all. Maybe they made me who I am today. And maybe they made you who you are today. And maybe they make you, the audience, whoever is listening to this tape and watching it, who you are. Maybe without those tests and difficulties, you wouldn't be who you are. You wouldn't have the awakening you have now. You wouldn't have the heart you have now. You wouldn't have the sensitivity that you have now. Right? Very true. And that's why we say that in spite of not being able to handle my loneliness right now, yeah? In spite of not being able to handle my loneliness right now, or in spite of the fact that I look at my loneliness as a negative thing, in spite of the fact that I look at loneliness as a negative cause, yeah? Or because when I feel lonely, I feel so unhappy. When I feel lonely, I feel very unhappy. I feel so disconnected. I feel so disconnected. I feel so sad. I feel so sad. I still deserve to love and accept myself. I still deserve to love and accept myself. I still deserve to cherish myself. I still deserve to cherish myself. I still deserve to admire myself. I still deserve to admire myself. And I remember when I introduced cherish, admire, and appreciate, because Robert Smith uses love and accept yourself, I had objection to it, and I said, why should I admire myself, you know, for feeling lonely or feeling bored or, you know, expressing my anger in a way that is not healthy. And I said, because I'm showing courage to do this healing work. Definitely showing courage. Stepping out and trying something different. Yeah, to be willing to come out of denial. Yes. To be willing to stop blaming other people. That's true. To blame myself, or yourself, or ourselves, or our parents. Like so many people just live life and culprit are the poor parents. And I used to do that too. And now that I've done a lot of my emotional healing, I have a great relationship with my 91-year-old mother.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, there was a time I hated my mother. There was a time I didn't want to be like my mother. And now I see her wonderful qualities. Yeah. So emotional growth is wonderful. It's the best gift we can give to ourselves. Okay? So now that we've had all this conversation, we'll do it one more time. Even though I struggle with loneliness sometimes,
Even though I struggle with loneliness sometimes,
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
I cherish myself.
I cherish myself.
I admire myself.
I admire myself.
I appreciate myself
I appreciate myself
for having the willingness
for having the willingness
to do this healing work.
to do the healing work
Yeah, and to bring more joy and peace to my life
and to bring more joy and peace to my life
and to the life of other people.
and to the life of the other people.
So, after we've stated the problem, now we're going to start tapping.
Very good.
So, we're going to, okay, let's see. We started at 1:36, and it's already 30 minutes, right?
We've got a few more minutes.
Okay, so, and I need to get better at making these videos shorter,
Yeah.
and gradually I will. Okay, because I have just so much to share right now. So when we start tapping here, the first thing that I've changed, I've added this to what Robert Smith does, is because a lot of people were taught not to acknowledge their feelings.
Right.
So now what I say here, I say it is safe and beneficial
It is safe and beneficial
to feel my feelings.
to feel my feelings.
It is safe and beneficial
It is safe and beneficial
for me to feel all my judgments about loneliness.
for me to feel all my judgments about loneliness.
Even though most of my judgments about loneliness
Even though most of my judgments about loneliness
right now
right now
is negative.
are negative.
Yeah. I don't think that when I feel lonely,
I don't think that when I feel lonely,
I'm a great person.
I'm a great person.
I'm a powerful person.
I'm a powerful
I'm a strong person.
a strong person.
I think I am so weak.
I think I am so weak.
Isn't that true?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so now, Rebecca, you add some.
I feel helpless if I feel lonely.
Right. So get in touch with all the feelings you feel when you feel lonely. I feel helpless.
I feel friendless.
I feel friendless. Now, the other thing I want to teach you, keep tapping. And when something is very strongly charged, you can tap on both sides. So take your other hand and tap both sides. Okay? It will release it. It will release it faster. So keep digging in. What else do you feel? So you feel helpless. You don't feel like you're a strong person.
I feel like I don't deserve friends.
Okay. So I feel lonely because maybe I'm not a very nice person.
Or I wonder, am I nice enough to deserve friends?
Okay. I wonder, like, why don't I have people that I can call and spend time with me?
And I'm forgetting all the really good friends that I have. And
Okay.
I'm forgetting my support system, my family, my sisters, and those friends who are as close as a sister to me.
All right. So now I want us to go. So this is what you do. As you're tapping here, this area is very important. This is a very important energy meridian. And sometimes if you don't have time to do this and this and this and this, immediately go here and just say, I'm feeling so lonely right now. Just, I want you to close your eyes and go to the last time you felt really lonely. And I'm going to do the same. And you do the same. Just go, close your eyes, keep tapping on your collarbone on both sides, and go to the last time you felt really lonely. And I want you to give yourself permission to feel all your feelings and emotions. Come out of denial. You don't need to be, you don't need to suppress, you don't need to pretend. Give yourself complete permission to feel all your feelings and emotions. The last time you felt lonely, was it an easy experience? Was loneliness an easy experience?
No.
Was it something that you said, oh, I like the way I feel. I want to feel like this all the time.
No, not at all.
Okay, so open your eyes now. So now be really truthful. Really be truthful. What were you feeling last time you felt lonely?
Isolated and separated and not a part of the group. Very much left out. Very much wanting to fit in, wanting to be included, wanting to understand the language.
Right.
Wanting,
Did you feel rejected?
probably a little bit rejected, but trying to be realistic and in denial, saying, well, it's just a language barrier, which I'm sure it is, but it still feels the same.
But what were some of the things you said to yourself? Did you say something like, wow, I wish they were more considerate?
I wish they were considerate.
I wish they would speak in a language that I understood too.
I wish they would look at me and share with me what they just said.
Yeah, they would translate.
Yeah, I wish they would translate.
Yeah, I wish they would include me.
Definitely.
I wish they would acknowledge me.
I wish they would acknowledge me because I am here, I am valued, and that I want to be a part.
Exactly.
I want to be included.
And what prevented you from speaking up and being assertive and asking for what you needed?
Because historically I've been chided for, well, if it's something important, I'll tell you.
So it was like a condition.
Yeah.
That I need to just tolerate this.
Yes.
Even though it feels so uncomfortable.
Yes.
And I feel so excluded.
Right.
And did you feel loved?
That's a good question. Part of it is I'm working through it, and so it's a
But did you
recurrent
feel
type
loved?
of love.
I wouldn't feel loved.
At the moment, because I still feel loved because I'm trying to look at the bigger picture.
I know, but did you feel loved?
Yes.
We all have a little child.
Yeah.
A little child. Did your inner child
my little
feel
child
included?
felt left out.
Yeah, it felt left out. And we all have an inner child. And what is the greatest need for children?
To be loved, to be
An
accepted.
attention,
Yeah.
to be included.
Definitely.
Yeah, I remember, like, whenever I would talk on the phone, my daughters would come and say, "Mommy this, Mommy that, Mommy
Yeah.
this, Mommy," because they wanted the
They
attention.
want the attention.
Yeah.
Right then.
Yeah, and it was amazing. Like, if I would take the time, if I would tell my friend or my client, with my client, I couldn't interrupt, but with my friend, I would say, "Can I call you back?"
Yeah.
And if I would give them 1 minute of undivided attention, then they were great. They were happy. They would go and play. So this is very important. With loneliness, it is very important to acknowledge that the inner child within each one of us, when we feel lonely, that inner child is communicating and saying, "I want some love. I want some emotional connection. I want to feel that I matter. I want to have some fun." Yeah,
I want to have some fun.
I want to have some fun. Yeah, and I want to do something meaningful.
Yeah, I want to laugh too.
I want to laugh. And this part of us, our soul, a lot of us know very little about our soul. Yeah, but our soul, one of its greater needs is the need for purpose and meaning. Yeah. So even though having fun is okay, we can't live. The purpose of life is not to just go from one fun activity to another.
Right, exactly.
I mean, if we didn't have a soul, then we could do that and be happy. But because we have a soul, we have a need for service to help other people.
That's true.
Because when we help other people and we help them with pure and good action, without any expectation that they owe us something, it brings amazing sweetness. Don't you think so?
I do. I think so.
I think about the last time when you did an act of service for another human being, because you cared about them and you loved them, with no expectation for return. When you think of it, doesn't it bring you sweetness?
Definitely.
Yeah. All right, so now we're beginning to realize that loneliness is not such a bad thing.
Right.
Yeah, it has a message for us. So now we go and tap here and say, now that I have a better awareness of what loneliness is, I'm not going to be scared of it.
Okay. Now that I have a better awareness of what loneliness is, I'm not going to be afraid of it anymore.
Yeah. So I am going to embrace it.
I'm going to embrace it.
I'm going to listen to its message.
I'm going to listen to its message.
And I'm going to do everything in my power to get myself connected.
I'm going to do everything in my power to get myself connected.
Whether it's connection with God,
Whether it's a connection with God,
with my own soul,
with my own soul,
with the people I love
with the
and I miss,
people I love and miss,
or even go out and reach out to new people.
or to reach out to a stranger, to new people.
Exactly. Yeah. Just pray and say, God, guide me to a soul that I can do something for them.
And God, guide me to a soul that I can help,
Yeah.
that I can encourage.
Yeah, I can encourage, I can love, I can give support, I can listen to, I can smile.
Yes, definitely.
And
Definitely.
then that makes our soul happy. Yeah. Okay? So this is the first round. Okay? Now the second round, I know I don't want to make this tape very long, but I want to do one more time, and then on the next tape we will continue. So after the first time you give yourself permission to feel, the second time you say, I give myself permission to let go of the loneliness.
I give myself permission to let go of the loneliness.
Yeah, and any other feelings that are there.
And any other feelings that concern me.
Yeah. If there is sadness, I give myself permission to release it.
If there's sadness, I give myself permission to release it.
It is beneficial for me to release it.
It is beneficial for me to release
For
it.
it is beneficial for me to release the sadness, the loneliness.
It's beneficial for me to release the sadness and the loneliness.
Yeah, and to take some positive action.
And to take positive action.
Yes, take positive action. And then hold your wrist and say, I'm so ready to do that.
I'm so ready to do that.
Yeah, I'm so ready.
I'm so ready to move forward.
Yes, and to embrace this loneliness.
And to embrace loneliness.
And to release it.
And to release it.
Let it go. I'm ready to let it go.
I'm ready to let it go.
Okay, so now this is another tip that I've added, is that you take a deep breath. Now everybody has their own spiritual guide. Someone they admire, someone they feel is not judgmental, loves them unconditionally, is wise, can guide them. For me, Baha'u'llah and all the teachers from God, Christ, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, Zoroaster, Moses, do that for me. And I tell people, whoever that being is for you, if it is Christ, go to Christ. If it is Buddha, go to Buddha. If it is more than one spiritual teacher, go to call on 2 or 3 of them. If it is none of these spiritual teachers, because you haven't studied about their life and you don't have a strong connection with them, choose someone. Like some people choose Mother Teresa, some choose Nelson Mandela, some choose anybody that you think is a highly evolved spiritual being and walks their talk. It's very important that you choose someone who walks their talk, because talking comes cheap. But there are people who really walk their talk, like they really practice spirituality, which is being loving and caring and supportive to other people. So go to that person, close your eyes, and go to that person. Go to that spiritual teacher, or that highly evolved spiritual person, and give yourself permission to be in their presence and ask for guidance, ask for strength, and ask for encouragement. And take a deep breath and stay in their presence and ask them to remind you that they're always with you. And you're never alone. And for some people, I tell them, if you feel real close, you have a positive concept of God, and you see God as a loving, caring creator, which I do, go to God. And take several deep breaths and stay in that space as long as you need to. And when you feel strong, thank them and promise that you will go back to that space. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay? Did it work for you? It was very, very helpful, very beneficial. Okay? All right. So we're going to end here, and you have again, if you have questions, comments, please contact me through my email, peace, Peace, like world peace, Faride, my Iranian name, F like flower, ARIDEH, one word, peacefaride@gmail.com, or you can go and send a request through my Skype, peace95, and we'll stay in touch. All right. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, Rebecca, for being here.
Thank you. I feel peaceful.
Good. All right.